On the login screen, put in your username, password, and firm name. Below, you'll see a verification code, usually with numbers and letters, you must enter before gaining access to your account. Now that we're logged in, we'll go over how to prepare a return. There are two methods of entry. There's the direct entry mode. Typically, you'll want to use this once you're a little bit more familiar with the different schedules comprising the tax return. For some of the beginners and even seasoned pros, we also have the interview mode. For training purposes, I will show the steps suggested to quickly and efficiently utilize interview mode. I like the interview method because it allows the preparer to not only be prompted for questions, but as you're going along, it's a great learning tool. We'll start with the dashboard on our first stop to show ease of use. The dashboard gives you a bird's eye view of what's happening within the office. From the dashboard, you can access prior year returns, choose from individual returns, business returns, and access to your back-end settings. Most important, you can see all your summarized totals, including overall returns that have been input into the system, along with accepted versus rejected returns. The navigation bar on the left provides quick links leading to important pages, such as accessing clients, your e-file manager, the scheduler, commonly used letters, reports, pricing, and more. Now that we have the overview of the dashboard covered, let's focus our attention on the left side, towards our navigation bar. Depending on your administrative abilities, you may have more or less showing here. Let's go to the Client Manager. After clicking the Client button, I have the option to filter the selection from who's already in my system, or I can choose New Return. We're going to start a new return. You have the choice of creating a new 1040, 1040X, and more, but we'll stick with the basics for now. Depending on your default settings, you'll enter Direct Input Mode or Interview Input Mode. The interview mode is more commonly used by those newer to tax preparation. It's more of an interactive process in which you save and continue through each page until the return is completed. You'll transition from basic information, such as your taxpayer's contact info, into the federal portion, where you'll enter income, deductions, credits, etc., and then move on to completing state information if applicable. Begin entering the Social Security number of the client. We'll then re-enter the SSN to confirm that we have the correct number. By default, it's set to prepare a 1040 return. Choose Save and Continue. Once it's done processing, you're going to come to a screen that might look a little intimidating at first, but remember, it's all simple data entry. Let's get started. This is where we'll enter the first name, middle initial, and then the last name. Suffix if applicable. Date of birth, month, day, year. We're going to add an occupation and an email address. For this exercise, the taxpayer does not have an identity theft PIN. However, if you have a client who is or has experienced identity theft in the past, make sure that they give you a PIN. You should enter it here. Without it, the return will not be accepted when transmitted, and the modernized e-file system will automatically reject it. Enter 2 phone numbers. A good question you may have is, what if my client doesn't have 2 phone numbers? A lot of us only have 1 cell phone. As long as you get the initial primary number, that is okay. Just remember, when using bank products, the system may require taxpayers having 2 numbers on file for compliance purposes. Quick side note, the email address and telephone number are not only for the software, but for marketing. So you want to gather as much contact information as possible to keep up with your clients moving forward into the new year. The address will be entered here. City, state, and zip code next. Again, enter the resident state information. Click Save and Continue. Next, select the filing status that will be used and choose from the following options: single, married, filing joint return, married, filing separate return, head of household with qualifying dependents, qualifying surviving spouse, QSS, with dependent child. If not sure what to choose, click the I'm not sure, help me decide link. Next, you want to ask the taxpayer the following questions. Is the primary taxpayer disabled, blind, hopefully not deceased, or a student? If they are a student, you will select the months. Are they in the U.S. Armed Forces, or could they possibly be a qualifying child or another person for EIC, especially with students? Click Save and Continue. Verify the contact information is accurate and be sure to indicate if the taxpayer opts into receiving text message alerts from your tax office. Once verified, save and continue the return. You'll also want to inquire about their healthcare information by asking if the primary taxpayer received a Form 1095-A Health Insurance Marketplace Statement. If they receive Form 1095-B or 1095-C, it is not required to enter for the year. For this tutorial, we're going to say that the taxpayer has insurance and didn't purchase it through the marketplace. This means the answer is no, they did not receive a 1095-A. Verify the mailing address and residence state. This will be the address used by the IRS for mailing your taxpayer's tax refund and/or any other correspondence. Moving forward, we'll enter the residence state and city. Check the box only if they do not want to auto-generate additional state entries based on the federal return. As you see, so far, it's just simple data entry. For the dependent portion, if answering that the taxpayer has a dependent, we would select Yes and proceed to complete the following list of questions. For now, we'll scroll down to the bottom and select Previous and answer that there is no qualifying dependent to enter. Save and continue. Moving forward, we'll enter the information for taxpayer's ID card, such as driver's license, state ID card, etc. Many state revenue agencies are requesting additional information this filing season to combat stolen identity tax fraud, to protect them and their tax refund. If they have a driver's license or state-issued identification card, please provide the requested information from it. The return will not be rejected if they do not have a driver's license or state-issued identification, and providing the information can only help process the return more quickly. Save and continue. Now we've reached the income summary. Listed on this page are the types of income we support. Go through the list and enter the income your taxpayer received during the tax year. The items listed below correspond to a line item of Form 1040, 1040-NR, 1040-SR, and/or Schedule 1. Click on the Show More button to see the specific income items that make up the value of the line total. Your adjustments to income summary. Listed on this page are the types of adjustments to income we support. Go through the list and select the adjustments eligible for during the tax year. Each item listed below corresponds to a line item of Schedule 1, Part 2. Click on the Show More button to see the specific adjustment items that make up the value of the line total. This section lists the types of deductions allowed for itemized deductions and shows what input totals you have listed currently for review. If the amount listed are incorrect, select the icon to revisit the section. If the amount listed are correct, select Done with Deduction Information on the bottom right of the checklist. Listed on this page are the types of credits we support. Go through the list and enter the credits you have received during the tax year. Each item listed below corresponds to a line item of Schedule 3. Click on the Show More button to see the specific tax forms that make up the value of the line total. Your tax summary. Listed on this page are the types of taxes and other taxes we support. Review the list and enter the taxes and other taxes you are subject to for the tax year. Each listed item below corresponds to the lines of Form 1040, 1040-NR, or Schedule 2. Click on Show More will help you see the forms used to calculate the value of the corresponding lines. Your payment summary. Listed on this page are the types of payments we support. Review the list and enter the payments you have made during the tax year. Each item listed below corresponds to a line item of Schedule 3. Click on Show More to see the forms used to calculate the value of the line item. This section displays miscellaneous tax credits, statements, and options to accompany your return for reporting purposes. Let's review your federal return. Alerts show you the problems in your return that may cause concerns with the IRS. For errors that are non-critical, if you choose to do so, you may click the Ignore and Continue button. For errors that are critical, you may click the Fix Error button. Next is Federal Tax Refund Options. How do you want to receive your tax refund? We have listed the available options for receiving your refund below. Direct deposit into one account. For direct deposit, the taxpayer's name must be in the account. For a joint return, some banks require both names to be on the account. Split the refund into multiple accounts for direct deposit, U.S. bond purchases, and paper check. For direct deposit, the taxpayer's name must be on the account. For a joint return, some banks require both names to be on the account. Receive a paper check. The check will be sent to the address on the tax return. For this example, let's say the taxpayer wants to receive a check. They decided not to have his return put into their bank account. So I'm going to save and continue. However, if they did want to have a direct deposit, you can enter this information here by selecting checking or saving and making sure the routing and account number are both correct. Again, if you have a client who is using a prepaid card such as a NetSpend or a Rush card, make sure, and I emphasize, make sure that they are giving you the routing and account number, not to be confused with the 16-digit number on the front of the card. If they insist that the number of the card is correct, disclose to them that you are not liable for any mix-up if they are not giving you the correct information. Let's save and continue. Processing time will vary depending on your internet coverage. You'll see a little box appear. Let's answer the questions to move forward. Are you ready to mark this return as completed?
Yes.
Are you ready to mark this return as reviewed?
Yes.
Are we filing this return as a paper return or as an electronically filed return? We are filing electronically, but right now we just want to save and redirect to managing our returns. Click Save and Redirect. We've now returned to the Manage Return screen. We would like to thank you for watching this SFP Works interview mode training video. If you would like more information, please go to our website, swiftfp.com, or reach out to one of our sales representatives at sales@swiftfp.com.